Welcome to the WP Tonic WordPress and SaaS podcast. Jonathan Denwood and his co-host Stephen Souder interview the leading experts in WordPress, e-learning and online marketing to help WordPress professionals launch their own SaaS. Take it away, guys.
Welcome back, folks, to the WP Tonic. This week in WordPress and SaaS, we've got a great guest. It shows 647. To say we've got a great guest returning, Vito Palog of Aperam, a friend of the show. I probably butchered his name, butchered the product, butchered everything, but I'm going to let Vito quickly introduce himself and then we'll get into this great interview. Would you like to introduce yourself, Vito, to the tribe?
Sure. So I'm Vito. I'm the founder of Atarim, which is a platform that helps web agencies and freelancers to better collaborate with their clients, get to deadlines on time, and systemize the project to delivery.
That's great. And I've got my great co-host, Stephen. Stephen, would you like to introduce yourself to new listeners and viewers of the tribe?
Yeah, Stephen Souder from hustlefish.com.
That's great. And before we go into the main point of this video, which is all going to be about Vito's experience of being an agency owner, then doing his own SaaS products, what he has learned on this amazing journey, we have to go for our quick break for our major sponsor to tell them about their amazing product. We will be back in a few moments, folks. Hi there, folks. I just wanted to tell you about our major sponsor, and that's Castos. If you're looking to get into podcasting for yourself or for clients, you need a top quality podcasting platform, and that's what you get with Castos. It has a superb interface, really easy to use, and you're not penalised for success. They have a flat rate pricing structure. Don't matter how many podcasts you make, how many downloads you achieve, you'll just pay at one fixed rate with Castos. Plus there's support and just the quality of the people are just amazing. Also, for the WP Tonic tribe, Castos is just offering an amazing deal. If you go to the WP Tonic website, backlink newsletter, you can get your first 6 months at half price. That's right, half price. That's only an exclusive offer to you, the tribe. Also, you'll be able to sign up for the WP Tonic weekly newsletter, which keeps you informed about all the stories and what's happening in the WP Tonic tribe. Please show your support for the show and support Castos. It's a fantastic platform. We're coming back. Really looking forward to this interview. Vito's one of my favourite WordPress friends. Vito, what do you see as, your product helps digital agencies with handling their clients, and you've got a very large online community through your Facebook groups and your other activities. So you interact with a lot of digital WordPress agency owners. Are there any kind of consistent problems that you see them dealing with on a daily, weekly basis that you would like to share with the tribe?
Right. Yes, we all share the same exact problems, and this is what was kind of mystifying to me when I got into this game, because as an agency owner, I was living in this kind of a bubble with my own team and my own clients, and I didn't realize that every experience that I was going through, hundreds of thousands of other people all over the world are going through the exact same challenges. If we want to pinpoint this to three stuff, there's only three big problems when it comes to running an agency. And the first thing is gathering content from clients, getting designs approved, and getting the clients to really give you the information that you need on the support or on all of those communications. Building websites, no one has a problem to do. That's what I learned. Everyone can build a website. That is never the challenge. The challenge is always on the service delivery, getting to the deadlines, working with other people to meet those deadlines and to get them to act on the stuff that we do. Now, more than this, what I found is that the main reason behind this, and I think you guys would agree, the overwhelming majority of our industry are creative people. We came into this game from just wanting to build a nice website, a beautiful website. Maybe came from the graphic side, maybe came from the code side, which is also, as developers, which is also a very creative process. We're not project managers at heart. We're not a business owners at heart. We learn how to do this on the go. And we learn from our own experiences and whatever, listening to podcasts and this and that piece of training. We kind of, patch things together to build our own business out of this. But our background is rarely starts from this, comes from this world. And that's why these are the challenges that we have. We never have a challenge on the creative side. It's always on the project management, the service delivery, the business side.
Yeah, I think just a quick follow-through question. You just touch it because you didn't come, you get a lot of people that work for an agency for a number of years as a junior, and they build relationships and then they go off on their own or with a partnership with either another co-founder or a couple of other people they know. But you are like me. You were outside the digital WordPress, digital marketing agency industry. You were a musician, and then you gradually. I think the consequence of that, I think what a lot of people get burnt out when they're like us, to some extent, is they don't realise the amount of effort and the financial strain because you don't have those relationships. You normally have to take on a lot of work which isn't that well paid and is quite stressful because you're just looking to get work initially. Do you think I'm right about that? And do you think people have got to be realistic and maybe have some money in the bank and realise it's going to be a real grind for the first year, maybe 18 months?
I don't like having a backup plan. I think that if you're doing something, you got to go all in. But that being said, it is expected that you're not going to make any money on your first few projects. I didn't. I built websites for $200 that I supposed to charge $5,000 for, when I first started. And it's fine. I think that's part of the journey. And I didn't feel really bad about this back then because I didn't know anything else. I didn't know I was doing anything wrong. When I needed to make more money, that is when the pain became real, and that's when I started realizing that I do need to charge more for the service that I'm providing. That's when I realized that I need to find the right clients, and it's all a matter of where you are in your personal journey that leads you to finding those questions. But if you're not feeling the pain, then cool, build a portfolio, do whatever, even rely on your spouse for a couple of months. That happens as a business owner. That happens sometimes, and make sure that you have some money saved up for a rainy day, because the agency model is like a feast and famine type of model, unless you build it properly with care plans and recurrent revenue from the beginning. But undercharging initially, I think it's a good lesson to go through. I wouldn't trade it, really.
When you're thinking through like building a SaaS, or I guess if you're in the agency world and you're like, how do I augment this? I feel like there's a trend to like go SaaS or recurring revenue, which is kind of almost like a SaaS sort of model in itself, right? Yeah. Do you need to find like that unique pain point that only you can solve? Or like with I guess what I'm trying to ask is like with you deciding to go from being an agency to building Atrium, right? Like you found this very unique pain point, decided to solve it. A care plan is not necessarily a unique pain point, right? Like it is a solution that a lot of other companies have. Do you think that in today's business climate, is there a need to find this very specific niche that you can own? Or do you think there's plenty of space still in this kind of service model that other people can have just an unequal service to?
Right. That's a really good question. I think that depends on your goals. So what do you aspire to do, or where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years? For me, we already had a nice flow of cash from recurring customers. To be honest, most of our clients towards the later part of the agency were just the same clients. You know, I didn't feel the need of going out there doing cold outreach and doing shaking elbows, post COVID, to bring in new business, because we were doing pretty well with that 50 recurring clients, 100 total clients, that just came back with more stuff. I was nurturing them more than I was concerned about bringing new people in. But I did wanted to go further. So this is a super valid model. Some people, and to be honest, Steven, this is not something that I realized when I got into the SaaS game. I was under the impression that everyone wants to build $1 billion company. How do I get to 100 million ARR? That's the kind of a question that was burning in my mind. But a lot of people, and I would say that maybe even well more than half of our community, are cool with running a small operation with 2 other folks, along with them, and generating the 5-10K a month, and that is super valid. It's actually not only that it's easier to do that. It's a lot less stressful, and as opposed to going after a market or building a product that is innovative, that doesn't exist, that you need to train the market, you need to bring people in, and you need to iterate this and invest a whole bunch of money into this. We invested well more than $700,000 into the product so far, to bring it to where it is today. And that is still nothing compared to when you're looking at some of the big products that are big SaaS companies that are out there. When you're doing care plans, what are you investing in? Manage WP and Atarim, and you're good. That's it.
Yeah, that bar is a lot lower of entry.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, definitely. And, everyone needs it. So every person that you build a website for is a natural fit for going into those additional services. I looked at this like the dentist model. So, when you go to a dentist, they bring you in with this free, a checkup, right? But then they tell you got to come in every few months. And every time that you come in, they hit you with another thing, So I see that you're drinking a lot of coffee. Maybe you want to do some whitening. That's like $300 right there. And if you do that, then the next time, okay, I see that you had braces when you were a teenager, so it looks like the teeth are moving again. So maybe we'll get you this Invisalign. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. So that's another $2,000. So they make their profits on the back end, and that is something that an agency or even a freelancer should keep in mind, that the clients are an asset. Every time that you acquire a customer, it's an asset that you need to nurture and you need to build forever, and not necessarily go after, raise a bunch of money and build a huge team, unless this is what you do. This is what I enjoy. This is my passion. I like the hunt. I like the game. So I like this path.
It's I was listening to Lee Jackson's podcast, Agent Trailblazer, and he was talking about closing down his agency
Right.
because he's got a SaaS product as well with a partner. And it was a couple weeks ago, he discussed that he was closing down his agency. And he was saying he was finding it very stressful, the agency, because he was finding that there was a lot of pressure on the price, but the actual projects were getting more and more complicated, and the deadlines were getting more compressed. So it was more complicated projects and more unrealistic timeframes. In your community, is this something you've been observing, people talking about?
About commoditization of our space is definitely there. Unless you find your edge, then you're just gonna get commoditized. You're just gonna become the flour, not the cake. But you want to be the fancy cake. So if that is building a complex website, or maybe like you're doing, Jonathan, building LMS platforms, or focusing on SEO optimized websites, or just finding some niche is way better than just going down and competing on price. I see that the people that do find their edge have no problem whatsoever charging whatever they believe is the right price for their model. Then most of the industry are playing for the scraps, really. Just most of the industry is competing with Fiverr and Upwork and Wix and stuff like this. I never considered these platforms as a competitor to us at the agency. It was just a step on the potential client's journey. Let them go to Fiverr, get burnt, and then I'll pick them up after.
Yeah. Just before we go to a break, I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and I see it very like the car industry, the car maintenance industry. You have a certain clientele that have a certain car, and they're just interested in getting the cheapest mechanics they can find. And then you have people that have slightly better cars, and then they're looking more for the competence of the mechanic plus a competitive price. But they're not looking for the cheapest, right? And then you have people that bought a brand new BMW or a Mercedes, and they just send it to the dealership because they just don't want to handle any of it, and they've got a brand new BMW and a brand new Mercedes, and I see that with
they send to the specialist.
Well, it's a different attitude, and you find a different attitude especially when people are making actual money from their website. I've found their attitude about the website totally changes if they're clearly making money. A results in B, and B is an increase in their bank account. Their attitude to their website completely changes.
But I would say I agree, but there is this point that the lower tier clients, the ones that just want a website for the sake of having a website, they don't think about making money from the website. So they never even get to this point that it's a revenue generation machine, as it is for a SaaS or for us, for people that know how to build those funnels, get up there on Google and all those stuff.
That's right. We're going to go for our break. We'll be back. We'll be discussing all things about somebody that's moved from the digital agency area into SaaS, and what have some of his problems have been, and what tips and insights he's got. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. Hi there, folks. Are you looking to build modern shopping cart landing pages using the power of WooCommerce for yourself or for clients? And you want to do that quickly with little need to know about hand coding? Well, if the answer is yes, and it should be, I've got the perfect answer for you, and that's Launchflows. Launchflows is the most modern and easiest way of building modern landing shopping pages for your clients. It also works natively with Gutenberg and the leading page builders like Elementor or Divi. It's really flexible, really powerful. Plus, if you go to the WP Tonic website, backlink newsletter, you'll get an amazing deal of the Launchflows lifetime deal. I think you almost get a third off, which is just amazing. And it's just an exclusive offer to you, the tribe. Please show your support for Launchflows, who's a sponsor of the WP Tonic podcast and for the show itself. It's much appreciated. Hi there, folks. Are you involved in the building of new websites or supporting WordPress websites as a freelancer or agency owner? If the answer is yes, we've got a great tool here, Avareem. As you know, you can waste a tremendous amount of time with email or phone tag with your clients around a new WordPress build out or supporting multiple websites. It can be a real pain in the posterior. But with Avareem, you get a essential interface where clients can log in, and with a easy visual interface, they can show you the changes they require. It's a real game changer, and it will save a tremendous amount of time and frustration, not only for yourself, for your team. Also, Avareem have given us a great offer. It basically only costs you $1 to try their program. It's really fantastic. If that sounds interesting, go to the WP Tonic website, WP Tonic, backlink newsletter, and you'll be able to try this great product, like I say, for just $1. What a fantastic offer. See you soon, folks. We're coming back. You've been listening to a couple of our other great sponsors, and I just want to say we're very appreciative of their support of the show and of the tribe. So let's go on with this great interview. So you started Avareem, which I butcher every time. It makes you laugh, though, doesn't it? You know, what have been some of the real challenges that you faced in because I think you went to the SaaS model straight away, because you've been involved in WordPress, and then it's a plugin but linked to a SaaS model, isn't it?
Right. It wasn't like this from the get-go. So we released a plugin. Initially, it was just like a standalone plugin, and I have a few other plugins that most people don't know about. They're kind of like passive income, really, for me at this point. There's one developer that does the support. I check up on them once a month, but they generate the revenue every month. So I had a pretty good experience with some plugins that we built through the agency, even for some clients at the agency, and then we started selling them with their agreement and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, let's do a plugin. You know, I think we because we built this as a solution for us. We knew that it worked, and it worked like magic, Jonathan. It was like transformative. You know, it wasn't just like a WooCommerce add-on. You know, it wasn't a line of code. It was something that really made an impact on my own business. So I thought that it could make a huge difference to a lot of other people's businesses as well. So we pushed it out as a plugin. About 2 months in, we saw the need to become a SaaS. And that is from a few aspects. First of all, the first thing that led us was the user. The users needed a centralized area to manage all of those communications that were coming on, because basically what Avareem does, or what WP Feedback, the plugin, used to do, is just you put it on a client's website and it allows you to annotate or visually collaborate right on the website itself, right? And so that was great. It gave that, it removed that barrier of communication and collaboration between the client and the agency. But then the agency still needed to go to each one of their 50 websites, 100 websites, to check what was going on in there, to check the stickers and all of those kind of things. So a centralized area made sense from the user's point of view. And that is what we built. So we released the plugin in like May. And in October, there was already like a Laravel React-based dashboard that was feeding all of this information there. And you were asking about one of the challenges, and this was an interesting one, and I didn't predict this. By October, we knew we were SaaS, right? But everyone saw us as a plugin. And that was a huge challenge because a SaaS has a completely different costs attached to it, and not only the hosting stuff, but developing a platform is like a completely different game than developing a plugin. Right? You have to have everything. You build everything from scratch. And not only that the salaries for the team are much higher than a WordPress developer, but the infrastructure needs to be created from scratch for every single thing that you do. You need even the basic stuff like a login system, right? It doesn't exist unless you build it. A restriction on a feature doesn't exist unless you build it. With plugins, it's a lot easier. You have hooks, and the WordPress framework makes it super easy to build and maintain. So that's why a lot of plugins are at a very small. I think the entire industry is underpriced anyway, but that's what allows plugins to stay rather cheap, if you know what I mean, compared to cloud-based applications. So that's why we rebranded. And it took about a year and a half of trying to battle it out with users and say, but we're not a plugin. Why are you saying we're a plugin? Stop saying it's a plugin. It's not a plugin. It's a SaaS with a plugin. Like Hotjar has a plugin. Facebook have a plugin to install the Pixel.
Yeah, I got a quick question about that, because and it's not a criticism, it's just I'm just interested in your view about this. But you've emphasised in the difference between a plugin and a SaaS. But our major, you're sponsoring the show for a period of time, but our biggest sponsor, Castos, they still offer a plugin, which is one of the leading WordPress plugins if you want to do podcasting, right? And then they offer this hosted service, which is superb, by the way. I'm not just saying that because they sponsor the show. It really is fantastic. So they've still got their plugin and they've still got their SaaS business. Why did you not think you could combine the both?
Right. So we do have a plugin, but the plugin was renamed as the client interface plugin, because really that's what it is. It's a tool that you use on the front end to interact with the software on the back end, and to have all of the stuff that we have inside the agency dashboard built into WordPress. That would be crazy, just from the reliability point of view, you would need like 70 more plugins to create what we created into this application. So it had to be like that. You can't do it in a WordPress website that is going to be.
We have to discuss that some more in the bonus content. Over to you, Stephen.
Yeah. Before we went on break, you were talking about how website development has become a
commodity.
Commodity. Thank you. A commodity product. Do you think that everything eventually devolves to commodity based? Like, will someday user feedback on a website and managing that devolve to a commodity, or are there some areas that will never?
No, everything gets commoditized over time. That is the nature of technology, and you just need to be at the forefront, and you need to evolve beyond that. So you can look at this from a project management point of view. When I first started, we were paying a whole lot for project management. For a project management tool. Now it's rather cheap. There's a lot of players out there. They raised a whole bunch of money. It's cheap. With what we're doing, there are very, very few people out there that are trying to do the same type of concept. They go about it in a different way. So my edge was saying, all right, instead of being a feature, which is what you would find in some of the other solutions out there, just the feature itself. I wanted to be the one that consumes the entire problem. And that gives the user a solution that gives them the cake, that gives them a cake with candles on top already lit, So they don't need to worry about anything. You just come in, you plug it in and you play. Instead of patching things together, but is Word, Microsoft Word is commoditized. You can use it for free on Google. They killed it.
Do you think it's important as like an agency, if you're starting to look at building a site, right? Like it's becoming that commoditized product as you're talking about. Is it important to find non-commoditized things, or do you think it's a viable strategy to say like, no, we're just going to win the commoditized game? I mean, Charmin Ultra does, with the toilet paper brand, Charmin does like billions of dollars of toilet paper sales. I don't know what their profit margin is on that at all. But is that a viable strategy for an agency to just say like, nope, we're going to embrace this commodity thing? Or do you think it's important for a company to always figure out how to get ahead of that and innovate with technology and stuff?
So, and no, it's not a matter of. So, if you're a SaaS or if you're, like a super, if you're a technology-based tool, yeah, you got to innovate and you got to have an edge always. And that's why you can never stop building. But as an agency, you can have a different game. As an agency, you can be niched down, or you can be the specialist. And when you're the specialist, you're creating a natural edge already. But more than that, you don't need many people. You don't need billions of people to become your clients. You don't need millions of people. You don't even need thousands. You just need like a few hundreds over the course of 10 years to make a good living for yourself and for your family. So there's plenty of that out there. As long as you place yourself at a place that is not looking at, if someone was talking to us and saying, what, I can build this myself on Wix. Cool, please go do it. Go ahead. I'll send you a guide on how to do it. Send them a guide on how to do it, so that they see how hard it is and come back. And some didn't, which is fine. Most of them are not in business anymore. They were never going to become a long-term client. The ones that want to run a business, they want to rely on professionals to work with them. So you can become the big agency that does like that's what Yellow Pages did. They became the one of the biggest agencies in the world. They build websites for $100, $200, and it's a template website. You get 10 of them. Choose this in. What is your color? You're good to go. And next, let's do thousands of them, 10,000s, millions of them. So this is a model, but I think this is not really. It's more of a productized service than an agency at this point.
Yeah. I think it's fantastic. We're going to continue this great conversation in the bonus content section, which you can watch on the WP Tonic YouTube channel and on the WP Tonic Facebook group page, the Mastermind group page. So, Vito, how can people find out more about your thoughts and your company and what you're up to?
So you can join our Facebook group at the Atarim Web Agencies community. And you can find me on Twitter, Vito Peleg. And of course, check out atarim.io. If you're building websites for clients, we can help you a lot.
Yes, and you can get a really special offer if you go to the WP Tonic website, stroke newsletter. Go there and you'll be able to sign up for the newsletter, but you also will be offered a special deal on Vito's great service as well. Stephen, how can people find out more about you and what you are up to?
Head over to hustlefish.com.
That's great. I just want to tell you our next week's guest is Morten Henderson from Senior Trainer at LinkedIn Learning. A great friend, a personal friend, and a great friend of the show like Vito. And we're going to be delving in about the future of e-learning in the medium to the short and medium term, how technology will affect e-learning. It's going to be from one of the great experts on it and a great trainer. It's going to be a great conversation. So please join us live for that conversation on the WP Tonic YouTube channel at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next Thursday. Vito, thanks for the conversation. Like I say, we'll be continuing this, which you'll be able to see in the bonus content. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WP Tonic Podcast, the podcast that gives you a dose of WordPress medicine twice a week.